Welcome back, Shalloners. Well, you guys voted and you guys have been requesting videos on these two for such a long time. So today we're going to talk about Miley Cyrus's new romance with Cody Simpson and also talk about Jennifer Lawrence because, one of these women is worth admiration, a confidence queen we can look up to, and the other one is Miley Cyrus. But before we get started, just want to remind you guys that if you have a love question of your own, you want to talk to me one-on-one, find me on my website, shallonlester.com, and you can also shop my brand new merch collection. I love it. I'm so excited. Get yourself a hoodie, get yourself a crop, get yourself a cell phone case. And by the way, the cell phone cases are meant to like leave room for a pop socket, and the phrase warm-blooded is inverted so that you can see it when you take selfies. Same with the sweatshirts. So, because I wanted you guys to like look in the mirror and see like a really powerful phrase when you're like doing your hair and your makeup. And speaking of hair and makeup, I don't know what my hair is doing today. Like I'm getting it done today. And you know, sometimes it's like your hair knows that a change is coming and it's like, well, fine, screw you. And it's just going to like go out with a bang, I look like I just waved out of some ghastly Hallmark channel movie from the 80s, but here we are. But speaking of bad looks, let's break down Miley Cyrus's latest antics. We've talked about Miley before, her split from Liam Hemsworth, how she's been like trashing him in the media and stuff. And Liam, for his part, stayed completely chill and silent. And when we talked about that video, it's like what to do if your ex is trashing your reputation. It's like you address them privately and that's it. Don't do it publicly because it just makes them look worse. It literally does. And it makes them look like they're not over it. Just the other day, I was going to tag like one of my ex-boyfriends in a meme, like we're still friends, like on Instagram. And I found he blocked me. And I'm like, what? And I texted him, I was like, you blocked me on Instagram? Like, I am like embarrassed for you. That's so cringe. And it's like so unnecessary. Like after all this time, after like literally years, like why now? And I'm like, I'm sorry, you're so not over it. I can't even be in your feed. Because that is what it comes down to. When you're over something, you don't need to block someone. You can unfollow them, like, okay, whatever, but it's like blocking you. And the same with talking shit in public. Because what do I always say? The opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. And Miley Cyrus does not feel apathetic about Liam Hemsworth. So she has been posting stuff with Cody Simpson, and I like love Cody Simpson. I love him. Pretty Brown Eyes is like one of my favorite songs. I was like really into surfing a few years ago, and like I would only be able to listen to Cody Simpson before I would surf. Like it was like I just loved him. I thought he was so sweet. And I know a lot of people who've worked with him on events and stuff, and they're like, he's the best. Like he's just such a good dude. He's Australian, you know, they're good people. And I feel sorry for him that he's gotten tangled up with Miley. I feel like she's kind of like an emotional con man. Because here's what was really going on with Miley and Liam. Would you like to know? Liam, call him crazy, wanted, a wife. He wanted a woman who was devoted to him and who was not on drugs. And Miley was like, I'm sober. I'm so sober. Meanwhile, she's working with like a drug company, like a weed company. Like she wasn't. And what Miley would do is she would twist everything to be everyone else's fault. When we talk about victim mentality, yes, we talk about the Kardashians sometimes. Yes, we talk about Taylor Swift, but we should be talking about Miley Cyrus because Miley, like, it's one thing to be like, I'm a victim. And it's another thing to gaslight your partner into making them feel like the bad guy, both privately and in public. And I have heard over and over that that's what Miley is doing. That like she somehow blamed Liam for the dissolution of their marriage when like, he's a pretty like meat and potatoes kind of guy. You know, he is what you view him as, like a fairly just like simple, like surfer dude, close with his family, wants just like a settled life with the woman he loves, you know, in their house with their million animals, whatever. That's not what she wants. And maybe it's a phase, maybe it's a pathology, maybe it's a mental health issue. I have no idea. Maybe it's a substance abuse issue, but she is not that person. And you know what? Whoever it is you are is fine. Whoever it is if you want to be Miley Cyrus, twerking and humping and all Adderalled out and whatever, that's fine. Don't drag someone else into this who wants something more stable and then shame them for what it is they want. Because once she got out of that marriage, we know what she did. She coupled up with Caitlyn Carter. So bizarre. Brody Jenner's ex-wife. And I actually heard that it was Caitlyn, like it was all like her big idea because she wants to be like social media famous in her own right. And she wants to hit 1 million followers. Like literally, who is following Caitlyn Carter? She looks like a very sad 10-year-old girl. I just want to like wrap her in a blanket and like feed her. She just seems very like fragile. But yeah, she was the one who was like calling paparazzi and trying to make this whole thing very public with Miley. And Miley liked her, and Miley is not the victim in the situation because Miley was like cheating on her the whole time. She was going to like fashion weeks, like Paris Fashion Week or Milan Fashion Week, and like shagging all the models. I mean, girl, keep it in your pants for one relationship, just one, pick one. So now she's moved on to Cody Simpson, and by the way, she made both Caitlyn and Liam feel like it was their fault. Everything was their fault. And it's like, I almost want her to teach like a learning annex class on how to be that manipulative and gaslight people. I wish I could do that for Evil Week, but I truly don't know. I am doing a video on how to manipulate men. Don't worry. But I don't know how to like do it to this level. It's pretty intense. I will have one on how to cheat and get away with it though. Evil Week is coming. Evil Week is coming. It starts on Wednesday. So this is what Miley has been saying on her live stream. She did a live stream with Cody. But first she's been posting those pictures, like her hand down his pants. I'm like, you are a child. Like, oh, is that where the penis is? Is it down there? How provocative. Whoa. And then their moms are commenting on the post. I'm like, this is a circle jerk of dysfunction. So now she did a live stream. This is her latest bullshit. Implying that they live together, which they probably do, you know. I always thought I had to be gay because I thought all guys were evil, she says on a live stream with Cody. But it's not true. There are good people out there that just happen to have dicks. I've only ever met one, and he's on this live stream. Unnecessary. Unnecessary, petty, immature, hurtful, spiteful, and yeah, not really over it. Why would you say something like that? Because you know what the headline to this article was? Miley Cyrus slams ex-E and Liam Hemsworth in live stream. When you're a public celebrity, you don't get to write what the headlines are going to be. You say something, and in your little reptile brain, you have to pause and be like, what could a journalist say about this? And if they could say something negative about someone I don't want to hurt, perhaps I should not say the thing. Maybe I shouldn't say the thing. This ain't Miley's first rodeo. She's been famous since she was, 12? Something. Like, she knows what she's doing. She knew that was going to be the headline. And it's so mean. It's so mean. Like, you ruined Liam Hemsworth. He's moved on with some chick from Dynasty. Who watched that show? And she's supposed to name Madison with 2 Ds. Like, okay. But good for him. Be happy. They seem cute together. Well, it's like, let it go. Like, he's not doing shit like this. He's not on a live stream with her. He has a modicum of dignity, and he's keeping things private. And this pathology of Miley should worry Cody Simpson. He should look at her and be like, ugh. If that's the way she's going to talk about her ex-husband, they took vows. Like, vows meant something to me. Like, you say them in front of God and your friends and your family. That means something. And apparently it didn't actually mean anything to her, you know? Because when you've had a relationship with someone that's years and years and years long, there is no longer one villain and one hero. There's just not. There's so many data points. There's so many transgressions and water under the bridge and stuff. Like, it isn't Miley's an angel and Liam is the devil. And like, who in the hell would buy that anyway, girl? No. So if I was Cody, I'd be like, how long until she talks about me like that? Because Cody, she will. If they'll cheat with you, they'll cheat on you. If they'll talk shit about someone else who is important to them, they'll talk shit about you eventually. And he should be real careful to try to control the narrative, because if he doesn't, she's going to. And like, that's a big lesson for us. Like, we have to listen to how our how our partners and our boyfriends and the people we date, or even the people we're on a first date with, how they refer to their ex. Is it, you know what, things just didn't work out, and yeah, it was painful and I didn't want to be cheated on, but you know, life goes on. Or if it's like, that fucking bitch, she's evil, I never thought I could love again. Like, this is a problem. Just the same way you have to observe how someone speaks about their mother. And I bet Miley doesn't speak very well about her parents. There's only one male on earth who's nice. Screw your dad, I guess. Screw your brothers, like your uncles, like whatever. Like, That's a weird thing to say. Literally, my bangs look off. It looks like I let some sort of like guinea pig or small woodland creature chew them off. I don't even know what to do anymore. I don't know. But let's talk about someone who's on the opposite end of the spectrum. Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence got married this weekend in Rhode Island. People have like this boner for Rhode Island. Like celebrities are like, Rhode Island. I've never been there. But I know it's like a lot of like really strong accents. And it's also the home of the mafia now. Yeah. And some of the most active KKK chapters are in Rhode Island. But you have a lot of really cool Gilded Age mansions. So, you got to take the good with the bad. So she married Cook Maroney. He's like an art gallerist. I was like, that's a verb I've never heard before. He runs an art gallery, which probably means he just like has family money and he's like art, I've also heard he has an enormous penis. So good for her. And I have always loved Jennifer Lawrence. I think sorry, I hit my camera. I've heard, a lot of people who've worked with her on movies and stuff, and they're like, she's just really real. And not in that aggressive Miley way, which is like, here's my whole life, I'm gonna talk about everything. But just like, she's a down-ass bitch. She's chill, and she's professional, and she's like a hottie. and like, she just seems like somebody you want to be friends with. I don't know, I've just always really liked her. And I like her even more when you contrast her with Miley Cyrus, because Jennifer has kept her romances private. Now, she might be a little farther on the other side. Like, there was a social media blackout for her wedding. No one could post anything. Like, Amy Schumer posted, like, something funny, like a pic of, like, Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe. And she's like, had fun at J-Law's wedding, and, like, then deleted it. So, I don't know. Maybe she's, like, really, like, militant. Like, no, don't talk about that. I hate that. Whatever. But, you're the bride. Do whatever you want. It's your wedding. You're probably only going to have, like, 3 or 4 of them in your life. So, Just kidding. But I've always heard that Jennifer Lawrence, Nicholas Hoult was like her true love. And then they broke up. He kind of like couldn't keep it in his pants. And then he knocked up that Playboy model. Remember? And J-Law was like devastated. We have all been in the situation where a boy we loved or a long-term thing or a first love, we break up and then they date a girl and you're just like, really? Look, there's nothing wrong with being a Playboy model. Like, I don't know. No one's asking me. But like, come on. It's like you went from an Oscar winner. Okay. And I'm sure J-Law was like, trash. But she was probably also like, it's just a fling, and her friend's like, he's coming back to you. He's just getting out of his system. Blake got something out of his system and into her uterus. And now they have a baby. And I heard she was just devastated. Like, I'm getting emotional thinking about that. That's the worst. You guys have experienced this. You've experienced this. And it's just like, man. So I do find a correlation between when we get like our hearts just crushed by someone and like seriously coupling up with the very next person we date, And I see this a lot in like, adults, like it's like you kind of marry the next thing that comes along that's healthy, partly because you know more about yourself, right? You know what works, you know what doesn't. You just want peace after a years long on and off thing. And also you don't want another heartbreak. You don't want another heartbreak. And so I hope J-Law is happy. I hope their relationship is wonderful. I hope his penis is enormous. I hope art gallerist is actually a job and he's not just sponging off of you, whatever. And I do think it's significant that she keeps their relationship private. Because we've talked about this before. Like, when things go south and you got to explain everything on social media, it's not as like there's engagement photo shoots. There's no divorce photo shoots, there's no like cute standard way of like, we're gonna divorce. We're broken up. It's like, are you deleting all the photos? And it's also indicative to me that she's not only in that relationship to stick it to her ex. Miley and Cody. So if you're dealing with an ex-boyfriend, if you're watching your boyfriend stunt all over social media with some new tramp he's got, he's not over it with you. He's not. I'm not saying you guys need to be together. And I'm not saying you need to call him out and you need to like keep giving him emotional real estate. But I'm saying that he is not moving on in a healthy way. And that doesn't mean you have to mirror that behavior. You should be moving on in a healthy way. And if you're You should be having some like moments of self-awareness listening to this, being like, wait, I'm all over social media with my new guy. Oh, why? Maybe you're not over it either. And that's okay. You don't have to be. But we have to give ourselves the time to truly let the dust settle from one relationship before we can get into a new one and have it actually work out. We can't just monkey vine from one to the other. I've always said that I kind of do this thing I call wallpapering. Taking off wallpaper is a pain in the ass. It's expensive and it's hard. And you have to scrape it off. So a lot of times people just slap new wallpaper over the old one. And that's typically what I've done with relationships. It's like, I don't really feel like doing 6 months of therapy to unpack what went wrong. I would rather just meet someone new and hope this works out. Girl, everywhere you go, there you are. Your issues come with its baggage. So I don't think Miley has done anything in terms of self-awareness, as evidenced by the fact that she is painting Liam as 100% the bad guy. That means she's taking absolutely no responsibility for her own role in the demise of her marriage. And I don't care who you are. I don't care who your husband is. If he's the most awful creature on planet Earth, you have had a hand in getting to this bad place in your life. Not that it's your fault, but there's things you've permitted, things you've promoted, things you haven't stood up and talked about, like fantasies you have projected over this relationship and ignored the reality of things. So we can learn a lot from Miley here. If someone's talking shit about their ex, if you find yourself talking shit about your ex, if you are on a date and you can't not bring it up, you're not over it. You need to remove yourself, step back, unpack that. Because what is that? That's the psychological splinter we talk about. Like, ooh, it hurts. And you know how splinters are. If you get them out immediately, it's a little painful, but it heals. But you leave it in and it festers, it throbs. You're like, I'm going to have to cut my ear off. This is the only opportunity. You know, like it becomes its own secondary problem. And we cannot just keep doing that. I mean, we can. A lot of people do. Miley's going to do it her whole life. Miley will never be 100% sober, I bet. She will never be super self-aware. I mean, who knows? She's still young. Maybe if someone finds this channel and gives it to her. But as she's going now, this trajectory is going to lead her to a lot of really dramatic, hurtful, exhausting relationships and breakups. I mean, she has gotten divorced and this is her second relationship. She was married earlier this year. And she said, this is her second serious relationship with someone who lives with her. I'm like, are you like going to the electric chair in 2 months? Like, what is the rush? Like, let's just pause and slow it down. And we can also learn a lot. Now it looks like a toupee. I really hope my hairdresser can help me. And we can learn a lot from Jennifer Lawrence, right? If something's real, it's quiet, just like confidence, right? You don't need to put it all out there. You don't need to have everyone else weigh in. It doesn't have to have an audience to be real. It's not a Tinkerbell type relationship. You know, clap if you believe she lives for applause. No, you have the opposite. You have something that's quiet, and you took the time between the fallout of one huge relationship to get into another one. And you let it go, and you learned, and you processed, and then you met someone as a healthy, whole, fully formed person so that you can be half of a fully formed relationship. But tell me your thoughts. What relationship are you putting your money on? Do you think Cody and Miley are like completely simpatico and this is like the match? It's like, girl, it's another Australian surfer dude. Okay. And I don't think that's a coincidence. You know, she's trying to stick it to Liam. It's like, oh, look, I'm dating you, but upgraded. Cody, I love Cody, but you cannot upgrade from a Hemsworth unless it's some Momoa. These are just facts. I don't make the rules. Or do you think Jennifer Lawrence is going to go the distance with Cook Maroney? Do you think she's almost keeping things too private? Like maybe on some level she thinks it's not going to work out and that's why she doesn't want it out everywhere, want him on the red carpet. Do you think that her privacy is like an overcorrection for her relationship with Nicholas Hoult, you know, because they were like a very public couple? Tell me your thoughts. And like I said, if you want a one-on-one sesh with me, find me on my website, shallonlester.com. Also, follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, where I let you vote and weigh in on the next video topic and get excited for Evil Week.